Have you ever struggled on a problem like this? Well, in this video, we're going over fx problems. Let's do it.
Alright, if f of x is equal to 3x plus 4, then find f of negative 6. Alright, so in these type of problems, all we have to do is, whatever number is given within the parentheses, so in this case, negative 6, we just have to substitute negative 6 in for x. So whatever x appears in this problem, we put negative 6 in its place. So if we have 3x plus 4, that becomes 3 times negative 6, because 3x is just 3 times 6. So 3 times negative 6 plus 4. And now we can just solve this easily. So 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Negative 18 plus 4. So when you do that, you get negative 14. And that's your answer. Next, find g of 7 if g of n is equal to negative of negative n squared minus n. Alright, so we're just substituting in 7 for n. So it becomes negative of negative 7, because negative n becomes negative 7, squared minus n. Alright, so for this we need to know our PEMDAS. So that is the order of operations. So in this, we first need to do the grouping symbol, which is the parentheses. However, there's nothing to solve inside of here, so we can go down to the next step. So the E in PEMDAS is exponents. So we see here we have the square, so we have to square first. So negative 7 squared. So that's just negative 7 times negative 7. So two negatives multiplied is just a positive number. So it's just 7 times 7, which is 49. Alright, so now we have negative of 49 minus n. So our n is actually 7 here again. So negative 49 minus 7, because this negative goes into here. So it becomes negative 49, and then we subtract 7. And when you do that, you get negative 56. And that's your answer. Next, if g of x is equal to 5x minus 7, find the value of g of 3 plus g of negative 1. Alright, so in this case, we're given two numbers inside these parentheses. So how do we know which one to choose? Well, actually, we use both. So we're going to do this one, so g of 3, and we're going to put this in for x first, and we're going to solve that, and then after that, we're going to put g of negative 1, so this negative 1, in for x second, and solve for that. And then we just add up whatever the answer is. So let's do g of 3 first. So if we're substituting our 3 in for x, it becomes 5 times 3 minus 7. Alright, so 5 times 3 is 15, and then 15 minus 7 is equal to 8. So that means g of 3 is equal to 8. Next, let's do g of negative 1. So we substitute this negative 1 in for x. So that becomes 5 times negative 1 minus 7. Alright, so 5 times negative 1. So 5 times negative 1 is just negative 5. So negative 5 minus 7. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. So that means g of negative 1 is equal to negative 12. So that's just 8 plus negative 12. So when there's a plus and a minus, the plus just cancels out. So it's just 8 minus 12. 8 minus 12 is negative 4, and that's your answer. Next, if f of x is equal to 3x minus 12, find f of 2 over 3. Alright, so we're just substituting this 2 over 3 in for x. So that's pretty simple. Let's solve. So we have 3 times 2 over 3 minus 12. Alright, so 3 times 2 over 3. So that's 3 times 2 divided by 3. Because 3 times 2 over 3 can be written as 3 over 1 times 2 over 3. And the 3 and 1 just multiply to 3. So it becomes 3 times 2 over 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. And 6 over 3 is 2. Alright, so now we can substitute this 2 back in right here. So it becomes 2 minus 12. Alright, 2 minus 12 is just negative 10. And that's your answer. Next, if f of x is equal to 3x minus 7 and g of x is equal to 7 minus 2x, then find the value of f of g of 4. Alright, so we're given f of g of 4. This is what we have to substitute. Okay, so this might seem a bit confusing, but it's actually very simple. All we have to do is substitute this g of 4 in 2 for g of x. So this 4 will go right where x is. And then whatever we get from this equation, we substitute that value in for this entire parentheses, and then we would put that into this f statement. So let's solve. So g of x is equal to 7 minus 2x, and we're substituting x or 4. So 7 minus 2 times x becomes 2 times 4. And 2 times 4 is just 8. So 7 minus 8 equals -1. Alright, so that's the value of g of 4. Now we put -1 in right here. So that becomes f of -1. Now we solve for that. So we have 3x minus 7, which becomes 3 times -1 minus 7. 3 times -1 is -3. -3 minus 7 is -10. And that's your answer.
Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to show your support. These videos take a lot of effort to make, and I would really appreciate it.